Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and welcome to the PublishU Podcast, where we explore the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm delighted to be talking with John Hymus from
Thank,
Wales, who has
thank you.
written a book called Take My Hand.
Yes.
John, before we jump into your book, let's jump a little bit into your life and story, which is actually really what the book's about. But tell us about you. What's been your profession and career in life?
My profession has been basically in teaching languages, teaching English as a foreign language, but also teaching other foreign languages, like Russian, German, French, etc.
Oh my goodness, how many languages do you speak?
I speak English. I can speak German fairly fluently. They might take me for being a Dutchman. I can speak French reasonably well. I can speak Russian reasonably well. My teacher thought I had a grandmother who was Russian. So I'm a good parrot, you see, Matt.
Well, that's
I can
how
parrot
that's
off. I
how
can parrot off
that's how
Latin.
children learn languages, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm learning Italian, and
Oh my word! Good on
it's
you.
uh, it's a beautiful
Molto bene.
language, but not an
Molto
easy
bene.
one.
Yeah, no,
Molto
good for
bene.
you. Excellent. Nice to
So,
hear.
so you taught. You're a teacher fundamentally who teaches
I'm a
languages.
teacher of languages. I ran a language school. My wife and I, we opened a language school in North Wales, which became British Council accredited. But then also we opened a work in Germany for kindergarten children to learn English.
Wow,
Yeah,
amazing! Wow, and
but we've done other things.
you've done other things. Tell me, John. Apart from teaching all those languages, what
Yeah.
else have you done?
Oh dear, dear, dear. Well, what else? What else have I done? I've worked in a garage,
Okay.
serving petrol when I was younger. I've worked
Yeah.
in Cambridge University Library. No, Cambridge University syndicate for distributing Cambridge exams throughout the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, while I was there, but mainly I've been a missionary.
Oh, a missionary.
Oh,
That's
I sort
that's
of missionary. I
interesting.
mean, I wouldn't, that's an elegant term, but I've
Yeah.
been involved in, because when I was at Cambridge in Trinity Hall, I became a Christian, having been very confused for most of my early 19 years. And then I decided I was going to work with the British government in West Berlin during the Cold War. I was being trained for that by some Russian emigres who were working for the British government teaching people Russian, and that was where I was going to work in West Berlin during the Cold War. But I decided instead to serve King Jesus.
There we go. Wow. So you were training to be a spy, is what you're saying, John.
Well, they were teaching people military and espionage, intelligence, but I'm not intelligent enough to be intelligent. Intelligence. but
I would
to
agree with that.
to listen to what was coming out of what was then the DDR, the East German Republic, and the Soviet Union. Yeah, I was being
Wow.
trained to listen to that.
Wow.
But I had to learn Russian from scratch within 9 months. Uh,
Okay. So you are a bit of a genius with languages.
I am pretty good at languages. Yes, I'm a good parrot.
It's the second time you've said that. But
Yeah.
why do you find it so easy, John?
Um, I love languages. They're fascinating to me. So, I mean, I can read, many languages. I can read Hindi. I speak Hindi. I can preach the gospel in Hindi, good, simple gospel in Hindi. I can read in Hindi. I can sing in Hindi. I can sing. I can, yeah, I can, yeah, German too. I think I might be German sometimes, or Dutchman. And so, why? I love languages. I love the way they look. I love the scripts. They fascinate me. I can
Yeah.
read Greek. I can read, many languages. Well, I can decipher Arabic. I can read Hebrew. I can, so yeah, Hindi.
Incredible.
Well, it's just everyone's got a gift, Matt. You've got yours, and I got mine, and Dirk
Yeah.
has his.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
John, what in all these languages you learned, What was it that triggered you to say, I'm going to write a book?
My kids, my daughter, whom you know, but also my other kids said, "Dad, you should write down what you've experienced in life for the family." And I think, Matt, when I first saw you, I said I wanted to write something for the family because I didn't think I'd done anything particularly great in life. I'd just been, what I was. But anyway, they said, "Well, what you've done is interesting. Write it down." So
Mm.
I did, and then they contacted you, and suddenly I understood that this is not only going to be for my family, but it's going to be published. So
Oh, my goodness. Well, that must have come as a bit of a shock. Well, I mean, John, when your children first suggested you should write a book, what was it that you think stood in your way?
what stood in my way?
Yeah, what were the
I never.
obstacles you sensed you faced?
Sorry.
What were the obstacles you sensed that you faced?
Well, I'd never done it before. I used to like English at school. I was a good at English.
Yeah,
It was just that I'd never thought of myself as anything particularly special. I just lived life and got on with it. And other people thought what I'd done was remarkable. So I thought, oh well, if they think that, I'll do it to them. It was me, my view of myself, probably. I didn't think it was anything
yeah,
special. Yeah.
yeah. But you are special, aren't you?
Well, we're all special, Matt. I
Well,
know
we
you're
are.
special. We're all, we are,
We are
yeah,
all
all
special.
special. We
But
don't
I know
realize it.
of all the people I know all around the world, there's nobody I know that speaks as many languages as you.
Well, I speak is a bit of exaggeration. I can decipher and read and understand. I can't
Yeah,
necessarily speak them. I can speak Russian, German, French, and English pretty well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or even to read them then. I mean,
Oh yes,
Arabic, Hebrew, um,
decipher. I can decipher.
decipher,
I can decipher
decipher.
Arabic. I can decipher Hebrew. I can read Hebrew reasonably well.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can recite in Hebrew too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
what's your book about? It's called Take My Hand.
Um, when I was born, I was very young.
Ah, yes, that is true. That is
And
true.
I think uh, I, I thought when I was very young, and we had the Cuban crisis in 1962, where we all thought we were going to be fried that afternoon. And I thought, what on earth am I doing here reading books? One book, A level school, books after books, all the French authors, the classics, all the German classics, the Latin classics, and then the Russian classics in college. And I thought, why am I reading these books? Life is meant to be lived, not read about.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to live it, except hitchhike. So I did a lot of hitchhiking. Yeah, left home and I just one time just dropped out without telling my parents and started to hitchhike to Sweden. Then a year later, with my parents' agreement, I hitchhiked to Skopje in Yugoslavia because there was an earthquake there, and I just upped and outed and went.
Went to help or
No, I just went on my own. My thumb. We thumbed lifts everywhere.
yeah.
And that you could do it in those days. I wouldn't do it now, I don't think. But I just I just left house and told my parents I'm going to Yugoslavia, and they were surprised I was going on my own. And I hadn't got a map. I just had travelled there with friends before. I'd gone to Germany, not Yugoslavia, but I'd been to Germany. So I knew the rough itinerary, and I just upped and went
So
with
you
no map.
literally hitchhiked all your way.
I hitchhiked all the way to Yugoslavia. Yeah, yeah,
And how
and
long did that take you?
it took me there and back about 4 weeks because I did it before going up to college, and I was just trying to find out what life. I thought it must be something more to life than just reading books or going and working from 9 to 12. Not that I'm afraid of hard work. I'm not, but there must be something more to life. I didn't know what. I didn't know what was eating at me. I just was confused,
Yeah.
and I just thought there must be more, something more. So the only thing I knew what to do was to hitchhike, and I hitchhiked all over Britain and
Yeah.
up to the Lake District and the Hadrian's Wall, etc., and
Yeah.
all over Britain. Yeah, then I hitchhiked all throughout Europe after
And
that.
where did you sleep at night, John?
I slept rough. I had a sleeping bag with me, and if there was a field, I slept in the field. If there was a park bench, I slept. Sometimes I, I had a tent with me, and sometimes I went tenting in the campsite. But
Yeah.
no, I slept on the beach.
If you did it posh, you went in your tent.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just slept on the beach in Thessaloniki. I decided to go from Skopje to Thessalonica. I just hitchhiked down to the beach in Thessalonica, slept there, and then some Germans turned up who were in a VW bus. They'd just come from Israel, and they were going north. They were going, and they said, "Oh, why don't you join us?" I just met them on the beach,
Yeah.
and so I joined them, and they were going to climb Mount Olympus the next day. So I didn't realize that they were going to do that. And we drove to Mount Olympus, and I climbed it with them. It was a 2-day hike up there and back 4 days altogether. I was attracted by a young lady who was in their group. She was a blonde. I
Oh.
thought she was very nice looking.
Oh.
So, I was only about 18, 19. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Caught,
that was,
caught the little twinkle in your eye.
yeah. Well, I was. I grew up in an all male. I mean, the home was all male. My dad, my sister, and then uncles who came back from the war, one by one. My mother had 5 brothers, and 4 of them had fought in the war, so they came back one by one to our home, and we had a 2 up, 2 down on Newmarket Road at the east end of London, east end of Cambridge, near the
Oh,
gasworks.
yeah.
So I was a gasworks boy. And,
Amazing.
yeah, I went
So
hitchhiking.
your book tells all these amazing stories.
Yes, it's a sort of pilgrimage. I wasn't going on a pilgrimage, but it effectively ended up being that. Trying
Yes.
to find out what is it all about. There must be something more. That was what is it all about? Didn't know. I was not religious at all,
Yeah.
and probably I was reaching out my hand, take my hand, look, help me. It was like a plea for help to someone I didn't know or something I didn't know. Take my hand. I'm a stranger
Yeah.
here on
And,
earth,
and
which is a
did you find any help, John?
well. Yes, because I went hitchhiking, as I said, to Skopje and then to Mount Olympus. On the way back, I came back via Cologne, and I asked a passerby. I've been on the road for about 4 weeks. Where's the nearest? Where's the nearest youth hostel? And he took me there.
Yeah.
This man, and we passed Cologne Cathedral, and he asked me would I like to go in, and I'd been hitchhiking for 4 weeks and didn't particularly want to go. I wasn't religious at all. It was irrelevant. But I went in. He said, "Would you like to come and see Cologne Cathedral in the inside?" So I went in to be polite, and then they were giving out mass. The host. They said, "Would you like to take it?" And I thought in myself, "No, not really, but I'm here, so I'll do it. To please you." So I did that. But I was impressed that he knew what he believed in, and I had no belief at all.
Yeah.
I mean, we never went to church. It was irrelevant. Had relevance. Had no relevance to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except when they gave sweets out once at the Sunday school. Then I went. That was the only time I went.
So, John,
Yeah.
what do you hope is the impact of your book?
Well, first of all, it was. I hope it'll help my kids when they go through. It gives them some background on where they come from. At least a major influence in their lives, because I didn't know anything about my grandparents because they all died. And we didn't talk at school, at her home, about things like that. We just got on with life and lived it. Everyone was trying to earn a living, after the war. So yeah, yeah. So what I would like other people beyond the family, hopefully they will be helped in their own life's pilgrimages, which we're all on, whether we like it or not. We're all on trying to make the most of life.
Yes.
And what's it all about? We're only here for perhaps 70 years, 80 years, and what's it all about? There's a lot of investment in a human being, and 80 years later, it's out, finished. There must
Yeah.
be something more, surely. That was always the inner drive, but I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
And I did a Ouija board thing at a party with my friends, and I had an experience that scared the life out of me there because something happened to this glass that we asked the question, "Is anyone here psychic?" And there were about 5 of us in the room, and one of them was French. He didn't understand what we were doing, and this glass spelled out his name, and I was the only one who knew his name, and it did it with a force, and it was a very complicated name. And I thought, my word, what is this all about?
Yeah.
So yeah, experiment, trying to find out what life is all about, really.
Yeah. So you've had quite some adventures. You love languages. You love hitchhiking, and you love.
Also,
Sorry, you love.
we drove overland. I drove overland to India with a group of others,
Wow.
all the way through where you can't travel now, through Iran, when the Shah was in power, and Afghanistan and Pakistan, and back again, all through India, all around India for 2 years.
Amazing.
Living rough.
Yeah. Well, John,
Thank you,
you
Max.
have quite an amazing story, and
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to taking your book with me now it's published on holiday. So
Thank you.
it's
Thank
going
you,
to
Max.
be a
Thank you.
great read. So
And
thank
for all your
you.
help.
It's
Thank
been
you
a
for your
pleasure.
patience. Thank you
Oh
very much.
well,
Much
it's
appreciated.
an absolute
I
pleasure.
might have given up. Had it not been for your encouragement 2 years ago, I might have given it up.
Oh
But you
well,
yeah.
I'm a hard guy to shake off.
Anyway, thank you so much. And I'm
Well, thank
grateful
you,
to you.
John, and
My
thank
pleasure.
you all for listening to the
Pleasure.
PublishU podcast featuring the real life stories of authors from around the world. If you're interested in becoming an author like John, then please do visit our website, www.publishu.com, publishu.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, please make sure you subscribe for more. Thank you all for joining us, and goodbye for now.